Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. It's Sunday and it's time for a Sunday walkabout. Alright guys, so there's really not a lot to report this Sunday. It's a really hot day. We were having some really great temperatures. We were in the 60s last week and we are back up to the 90s again. So it's really hot. It's really humid. No breeze anywhere, just hot for absolutely no reason. So I'm not gonna really spend too much time out here because I definitely don't want to get burnt up, but I definitely want to show you a couple of things that I just thought that I'll just point out. First is my clearance plants. Now they all are doing great except one. You guys, I've shown you, I've kind of documented all the times I've gone and got clearance plants. They're all still here and they're here for a couple of reasons. One, I haven't decided where some of these things are going to go. Two, the tree that I need to cut down still has not been cut down to put some of these things in. Three, there's a lot of things that need to be propagated. There's a lot of things that need to be divided and moved around. And I want to, when I move something and when I place certain things, I don't want to have to move them again. So I'm just going to take my time. And also another thing too is because we're going to be getting hot, then cool, hot and cool. That's actually going to be a little bit stressful on the plants, especially when they're going into transplant stage and they're trying to go to sleep. I want the plants to go to sleep healthy, because if they go to sleep not healthy, you might not get a good plant come next spring. So I'm not in any rush to plant any of these clearance plants, but I just want to show you that they're all still here and they're all looking great. Now the only one that's not taking and doesn't look like it's going to make it is this penstemon here. I had bought 3 penstemons. The other 2 are doing great, but this one is not. I need to cut back a couple more things. They just need to stay watered and they should be fine. Remember this guy here? This is an agapanthus that I had bought, and I wasn't sure if it was going to bloom again, but look, it actually has 2 blooms on it, so it should actually come into full bloom in the next couple of days. Everybody else looks great. You see my agastache here, it just needs a little bit more water and it'll be fine. You must remember, you might have remembered my hydrangeas. These are all going to be white weddings. They're looking great, right? Look at my scabiosa, also known as the pincushion flower. This guy is putting on blooms after I cut it back, looking great. We've got the azaleas here that's still looking great in the pot. Now I have them in part sun. All these guys here, I don't put them in full sun yet because they're just too stressed out to be in full sun. The only thing that I've been putting in full sun is stuff that that needs to be in full sun. These guys don't need to be in full sun at this particular point, and they seem to be fine. Remember all these guys here? Remember I had these 3 cat's meow nepidas. They came back and they bloomed again. Same thing with those veronicas. They came back and bloomed again. So they're doing great. I'm so happy to report that I only have 1 casualty for all the clearance plants that I bought over the last couple of months. These are also clearance plants, these Crepe Myrtles, and I made an actual conscious effort to put these in a bigger pot because I knew that I was going to be, because I knew I was going to put them in the full sun because they are Crepe Myrtles and they need that full sun, even though they're a clearance plant. So I made a decision to pot them up in a bigger pot so that they can strive, bloom, and actually have the leaves fall off and go to sleep. So happy to report. As you can see, they're in my Really, I love these Allen and Roth planters. These are huge, and once I put them up, they actually are doing great. Not only are they doing great, they are blooming, guys. Alright guys, I want to show you something. This is a prime example of what happens when you have something in a smaller pot in full sun compared to something in a bigger pot in that same full sun, right? So here is my holy grail hardy hibiscus that I got on perennial markdown from Home Depot versus my Lowe's cookies and cream proven winners same hardy hibiscus. The difference is that one of them I came home and I actually put it in a bigger pot. This is again in one of those Allen and Roth pots, right? And I left, not because I purposely left this guy, I just ran out of pots. And that pot from Allen and Roth is $14. I need to go back to Lowe's and get some more. But the only reason they didn't get potted up is because I didn't have any more pots. But I kept watering them. But because they're in a smaller pot, in full sun, just like this guy here, this guy is going to look a little bit more weary because the pot is smaller and the water dries out faster, right? But I must say, this plant is quite fine. Hibiscus, these hardy hibiscus, they are very water hungry, right? So you have to water them every day if they're in a smaller pot. Obviously, if they were in the soil, they wouldn't look this bad. But once the water that I just watered them with makes its way through the stems and the branches and the tip of the plant, it will come right back. But I try to avoid having the plant get stressed out every day like that. So I definitely keep this guy moist. But I just wanted to make a point of showing you the difference of the same plant, the same type of plant, in a bigger pot versus a smaller pot in the exact same position of the sun. I am so happy to report that my Pearls of Perfume Mock Orange that I got from clearance at Lowe's is doing great. Now this guy was looking rough at Lowe's. I wish I had a picture showing you exactly how this thing looked. It was on its way out, guys, and it came back, and not only did it come back, it is blooming. Now when I kind of try to smell this, it doesn't smell as citrusy as I thought it would, and maybe it's because it's only one flower on. Well, there were two. There was this one here, and he's done, and there's another one right here. I smell, some sort of a citrus, but not as much as I thought I was going to smell. This is the very first time I had this plant in my yard, so maybe I need the plant to have more blooms for it to give me that citrusy smell that I hear so much about. But I'm just so happy to report that it's doing well. Not only is it bringing out new foliage right here, and new blooms right here, it's looking great. Let me know if you have this guy in your yard and how it does. Now this is another one that I actually potted up, right? Because I wanted to give it a chance to really do what it's going to do before it, the leaves fall and it goes to sleep. Because I anticipate that this guy should do well in my garden. In theory, it should do well in my garden. All right, guys, I'm happy to report that I have okra. This is one of the ones that in the garden that blooms a little bit later, and you can get the okra later on, and it could be the fact that I actually planted these things late. But look at this really nice big okra, guys. I love this vegetable. It always does well in my yard, and I love just to steam okra and eat it just like that, and it's doing great. So here's one okra plant right here, and then here's another one with some baby okras on here as well. Happy to report that. Let me know if you like okra, if you grow okra, and how it does. And you might have actually seen a short of mine I put up, because their flowers, because it has the flower and then behind the flower comes the okra. Their flower is one of the most prettiest vegetable flower. Really, really pretty. I put a short up of it because I was really excited to see it, and even the pollinators love the actual flower as well. On the other end of things, guys, the vine borer has gotten to my squash plants, guys. My cucumbers, my melons, and my zucchini. The vine borer got them. So, of course, I can't use them now, but thank goodness I'm the type of gardener that comes out every day and inspects and looks. I don't know how it got to the point where I couldn't catch it, but by the time I caught it, it was too late. But I got to at least enjoy some cucumber, right? When I cut open the watermelon, because I had one watermelon in this plant. When I cut it open, I was holding my breath and it was looking nice, guys. It was nice and red and juicy, but you could see where the vine borer got in and got it. So I didn't get to actually experience my watermelon. After spending so much time on it, it didn't come through. But that's fine. That's what happens when you try to grow organic, when you don't spray a bunch of stuff. I didn't really spray anything this year, and when I do spray, the only thing I really spray is organic neem oil. And I didn't get around to spraying the organic neem oil because I didn't see anything. And even with the person that comes out every day and inspects, I don't know how I missed it, but that's what happens sometimes when you don't spray, because these things, they just go crazy on your plants. But that's fine. That happens. It's not the first time it happened to me, so I kind of knew that that was a thing when it comes to cucumbers and stuff, but that's quite okay. But I definitely wanted to show you that. Here is my jalapeno pepper. And remember, guys, I planted all these things from seed, so I'm kind of behind the curve with a lot of things. And a lot of people already had peppers and okra and watermelon, but I'm kind of later on in the season. That's okay, because one, I'm in Georgia, my season's longer or long, and it's okay because I'm still in the hot sun. But here are my jalapeno peppers. They're in here. Hopefully they will make it, guys. All right, guys, just checking in on my containers. These are all my summer containers. They look good, you know, considering that they've been getting beat up by this Georgia sun, but they look good for the most part, right? So here we have stuff like the Calibracoa here, these little pink guys here. And then I have some white pentas here. And then I have this little miniature butterfly bush here. I think it's called Little Grape. And then, of course, you have lantana. These yellow guys are lantana. Those pink guys here are vincas, right? Back there we have some elephant ears. California elephant ears is called. And then again, more lantana that's really giving the color. It's really giving the color. And then we have some diplodenias here. These red guys are diplodenias. And then these guys here are purslane. Right next to the purslane are Mexican heathers, one of my favorite and reliable and tough, really, really tough annuals. I'll buy this thing every year, guys. We've got some petunia over here. And this other pot here, I had some delphiniums in here. That's done for the season. But as you can see, the Jenny's in here. And Jenny stays green for me all year round. So this is one side of my summer containers. You can see the canna lilies. Canna lilies, they look ratty around this time, and they have this thing that kind of attacks them sometimes, that kind of, kind of turns the leaves around and kind of bites through it, and so you can see holes in the leaves and stuff. But canna lilies are beautiful, and I kind of keep them around, but I do recognize the fact that they do get, they get caught up with that other thing that actually bites through them and makes them look ratty. And they're actually already bloomed. On the other side of that is my bench and my little area that I sit and I think and I kind of, like look at the garden and see what I'm going to do and I'm not going to do. And then I have some little light stuff that I use. It's solar lights that I got from Ollie's, Aldi's, or Amazon. And then the other side is pretty much the same type of stuff, except you have like maybe a purple petunia, more of the pink vincas, a red salvia, more of the elephant ears back there. And then, of course, this guy here, which is, again, I love marigolds right here. Really, really nice, guys. So I'm really happy with what this is looking like. Once the rain has come, because it was looking kind of rough earlier, but then once we got rain, because we've been getting rain every single day or every other day at least a drizzle or so, right? And it's been great. Now, all of these things, you can see they're all in those Allen and Roth brown containers, which I love. I'm not sponsored by Allen and Roth. I don't get any money for that or anything. I just love these pots. And I love brown. I love brown in the garden. I like to keep my garden a little bit uniformed, right? So all my containers are this guy here that I bought from Lowe's for $14.98. I am so happy to report that my favorite plant in the entire garden, the autumn Joy Sedum, is beginning to turn colors into the really nice pink that it's going to become. And then it's going to come this really nice rosy red, guys. And the bees they've been waiting. This is the #1 plant for the bees in my yard, and they absolutely love it. Now, when this guy actually turns and has a really nice pink, this entire plant will be covered by bees. And if you have the autumn Joy Sedum, you know that to be true, because for whatever reason, sedum packs the punch for these pollinators, guys. They really, really do love the sedum. I have autumn joy, I have autumn fire, and I have several other sedums, and that is the story there. Otherwise, I have a lot of butterflies in my garden. I'm so happy to see some of these swallowtails. Here's a nice big one right there. So that's a Pugster amethyst butterfly bush that they seem to love, guys. They really love that butterfly bush. And they also like the Canyon Creek abelia. So here's that abelia right here, and every day I come out, they're hanging off of there, and they're just having a grand old time. So I'm just happy with what the garden looks like, guys. Nothing to complain about. It could be worse, it could be better, it doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the garden here in the middle of August. All right, guys, that's it for me here in the garden. Let me know what you think, and let me know how things are going for you here in the middle of August. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.